Christine Belson, the president of Sony Animation, said early on, like, let's objectify men like crazy. At every department, they're like, okay. And the first pass would be like, cute. And we're like, no. My algorithm turned into just Korean men doing body rolls for like a few months. Hi, I'm Chris Applehans. I'm one of the directors of KPop Demon Hunters.
Hi, I'm Maggie Kang.
I'm Arden Cho.
I'm Ahn Hyo-seop.
My name is Mei Hong.
I'm Ji-young Yoo.
I'm Michelle Wong.
I'm Helen Chen.
I'm Joshua Beveridge.
We are here to break down the scene where Huntrix meets the Saja Boys for the very first time.
I'm very excited to talk deeply into the scene because we're going to get nerdy.
Oh yeah, come on.
They really made them so hot.
Oh, and fun fact, all the boys, the Saja Boys, share a body.
Same model. Yeah.
Same model. All except Abby, because we made him like 20% bigger.
They're a little bit one-dimensional on purpose.
It kind of represents the Korean pop industry. There's one who sings well, there's one who dances well, there's one that has very good looks.
Baby is the maknae, the youngest.
But he's just so cool with his attitude.
I think at one point we had him like sucking on a lollipop, and it felt a little too like, okay, we don't think we want to go that far with it.
There's often a guy who's kind of like the most swoony.
We really wanted to go for like a heart shape, even with his hair. He has a heart pendant, and also I think the buttons are also heart shape.
And then mystery, like you're always wondering what he's thinking. And it's the archetype of like, what's going on in that beautiful head?
It also helped that we didn't have another face to animate. There's usually a member who just likes to flaunt their abs.
The cornet's eyes were the sequence is really all about.
The chibi eyes. That concept originated in anime.
We have these girls that have very high fidelity models with textures. So making sure that we could get that gag into like a 3D context and have it feel cohesive and read was definitely a big question mark.
Can we make this concept that worked in storyboards and gets a big laugh in the story room work in this beauty lighting? We figured if we could do this sequence, we could do anything.
The precarious button.
Maggie said 6 months. 6 months to make those abs.
I can't tell you how many meetings there were about whether or not the boys should have nipples and where they should be placed on the chest. That was a whole journey.
In animation, we don't usually show nipples. We did it with the lightest texture as possible. One of our art directors, Wendell Dahlett, his joke was like, more spec, which means that, you know, you're adding more light to the abs.
I love that you're eating. That feels very SpongeBob, that joke. There's many versions of that we did. What would that sound like?
What would it feel like?
Yeah, is there like a tremor to the voice that matches the speed of the popcorn?
This is an illusion on several fronts. If you rotate, like see Zoey from the side here, obviously she's got no eyes, and that's like this floating cards, little patches masking out her one set of eyes to reveal a version of her head that has no eyeballs at all. And then the mouth is like a false room floating like a foot in front of the face. Like you can see, the mouth is even floating off the surface three-dimensionally from the side there. And then the lighting team had to figure out how to comp that as if it was being hit by the same rays.
You guys are so gross.
Oh, you guys are so gross. Like that gross elongated to like the, ooh, I want him now.
Gross.
Like that was probably one of the hardest lines to record. To go from like disgust to attraction love is a lot harder than it looks.
I freaked out at both of these needle drops. The intro to the Saja Boys, I went, oh my God, is this an EXO song?
Take your time.
Yeah, this is EXO's Love Me, right? I don't know, it just had this like groove to it.
Good bass line,
yeah, good bass line.
And then I went, oh my God, this is a song from Business Proposal.
You know, in Korea and people who watch K-dramas, this song is like a friend, like the Friends theme.
A lot of us were watching Business Proposal way before we even were thinking about casting for Jinu.
Maggie and I actually even talked about it in the studio when we were recording, and your name had kind of come up, and we were like, yes, Business Proposal.
And the first time we showed him the scene, he was like, wait, what's happening? His worlds were colliding, and like you were like destined to be in this movie.
I remember like laughing out loud. They put the whole K-drama scene in the movie.
This right here is the first moment, which is the casually perfect eye contact that the dude makes with you.
The first moment he looks up at you, the audience, is when Rumi first sees him. Like that thrill of seeing somebody so beautiful. We wanted to heighten that with like a beam of light, like just shining over her face.
We would blow him out and have him feel like he is the light source in some ways, and then she's just there basking in it. Even from the back here, his white shirt is really lit and glowy.
I feel like Korean K-dramas have a lot of cliche, but in some ways, there's a Korean expression called 아는 맛이 무섭다. If you know the taste, it's still dangerous. It's always delicious every time you eat it. I feel like you need to have this little cringe in you when you watch it, but still feel good.
This move we defined of Jinu lifting his head was based on like a little test performance. Before we had this costume, we had his demon costume, and we did a test where under his hat he just lifts his brim to reveal his face, and like there was just something immediately steamy about that, and we defined that as Jinu's move. Jinu is constantly revealing his beautiful face.
For Jinu, a big inspiration was Spike from Cowboy Bebop.
He's a very quiet guy, I think. He looks very cool and cold on the outside, but deep inside he has a big pain. I mean, he's a demon, but I saw more of a human side of him.
We kept his hair dark because we wanted to really preserve like the iconic K-drama lead look. And also he's 400 years old and, you know, wanted to preserve like the traditional look. Yeah, the
quality.
classic quality of him.
This is as literal a K-drama influence as it gets, which means really long lenses, gentle, like shallow, super shallow depth of field, which means blur was going to be a huge part of this.
And this was actually really challenging to do in animation. We're like, we know how to do this moment.
Well, we actually thought it was just straightforward slow-mo. It's actually not. We realized it's like there's like a
fast slow fireworks
pace to
going
it.
on.
So we talked about it as fireworks, like bursts of fireworks.
Chris and Maggie kept calling them fireworks, and we were all scratching our heads about what that meant for a long time. Realized they meant, oh, this is like a spectacle of like quick, slow, little bursts.
K-dramas are so good at blending the comedy with the romance, giving you the butterflies.
This was like one of the breakthrough faces. Maggie was like, we're going to do double chin.
Maggie acted out a lot of the references. She was like, acted out how she wanted to follow this out, and we jumped in on that expression she made there of this little adorable double chin there. It got such a big laugh the day we did this.
She rounded, as you can see, the corners of Rumi's mouth kind of do a little cute rounded thing, which is very unique to like Korean mouth shapes.
1000% he will catch her, but then he doesn't, and you're like, oh, so disappointed.
We're just trying to draw it out. How long can we protect this connection about to happen? How absolutely, impossibly long can we tease that out?
He's for sure gonna give her his hand, and then he doesn't. And you're like, what? Yeah.
My wife is Korean, so I have learned over 20 years. There's this whole
these sounds mean?
vocabulary of sounds that mean something, including like the aish. But it's a bit of like a dismissive and annoyed thing, giving people, you know, kind of a middle finger a little bit.
It's a Korean expression.
The first time I saw this scene, I was dying laughing.
I could see that Jinu was pissed, and I felt like I needed to. What's 싸가지 없어 in English?
There's not a direct translation, but it's a little bit of like kind of jerk and cocky.
Yeah.
Like he thinks he's better
Yeah.
than her.
Watch yourself.
It was like there was like a moment where I had like let my guard down, and it was this beautiful K-drama moment, and then just like devastation, and of course like embarrassment and anger.
Watch yourself!
That face is so good.
I love how quickly Mira and Zoey join Rumi in that disgust as a deal breaker for them as well. They like all are a team, clearly being infatuated and clearly turning together. Like they're here to support each other.
Look at this mess. Yeah, they're not even that cute.
The epiphany in this sequence was their costumes. The character art director, Scott Watanabe, did this one drawing where the girls were in these outfits. For Zoey and that whole look, she has this like really fun and light vibe. Mira has this almost like quiet luxury. All the gold on her is very thin. She's got this like put together shirt. And then for Rumi at the time, we were talking about her character is that she's hiding a part of herself, and we wanted that to come through in the costume. So not only does she have a hoodie, but she also has a jacket. We didn't want to like Powerpuff Girl it, you know, and give them specific colors and color code them in that way. The difference between their costumes here is just one is more grounded and more keyed into the character's personality, and the other one is creating kind of this like facade for them as a group.
And then it goes on to like literally one of my favorite moments when the girls are just like, they're so like, bleh, 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 bleh.
So bleh. They're so
No, they're
You know, we actually really didn't like meet as a trio until we started promoting the film.
It all came together so seamlessly, and it really does sound like we're all in the same room.
Just hats off to Maggie and Chris for knowing how to bring the chemistry out of us even when we weren't in a room together.
So often female leads, you have to be one or the other. You have to be perfect and strong, or you're just like silly and awkward. And I feel like this was one of the first where I felt like as a lead, you could be all of it.
It feels so much like a shared history. There's a kind of sisterhood bond of like, you know, like.
And it's a little childish, which I think, you know, we wanted to really keep alive in our characters.
It took a minute to get all our voice actresses to be like, wait, you want me to be that? Like I'm a 13-year-old? We're like, yep.
I'm gonna throw up.
Wait, what is that?
I love that so much about this scene.
Yeah.
The cinching, the eyeballs floating, you know, like up here.
It's such a good blend of Eastern and Western animation styles.
Yeah, I'm obsessed with those details.
Oh, sorry.
The set itself is based off of this area called Myeongdong in Seoul.
Everybody goes to Myeongdong, similar in the way that when you come to New York for your first time, you would go to Times Square.
For it to feel like Myeongdong, we needed that floor with the circle pattern. We took everything that we could draw from real life inspiration, but heighten it in a way that supports the song and the moment.
First poses, how they revealed, that was a journey. The first shot of this dance was the last one we finished in this.
Our brief was like, we needed genuinely great, irresistibly catchy pop song that's also like full of subversive lyrics. And that's actually a really hard assignment.
Yeah. So we have a team with the Black Label that have never made narrative songs, but obviously make incredible pop songs. And then you have our team that have never made pop songs. What's important for the scene is the narrative.
It's kind of three things that it's doing. It's just catchy, like you talked about. It's also playing into what is a typical double entendre of a pop song.
Because the demons are there to eat our souls, we wanted the song to be about some sort of food item.
Looking like snacks. Like, that's such a good lyric. And it's fun to have a double meaning, but a triple meaning is even more fun.
Like all our songs. Which have
They're all doing three
three
things at
different
least.
things.
Yeah.
It's so stupid jokes again. I love the ajumas, especially the one that runs towards Jinu.
Gets blasted back.
Go back a few frames. Their costumes are incredible.
Yeah, they are incredible.
These were designed by Uni Choi,
Uni
who was
Choi.
one of our Korean character designers. It was so nice to be able to be like, you know, three ajumas. You know how they dress. And she's like, I'll see you in a day.
I personally was very worried about what the actual ajumas would think about this, but they love it. They're like, this is totally us.
If you're Asian and Korean, when you see them, it definitely brings a sense of authenticity. Everybody understands who they are and how important they are to the Korean culture.
I feel like everyone falls in love with Jinu and the boys here in this moment. And I feel like if you don't, there's something wrong with you.
We're never making fun of it. Like, they will be actually hot. They will be actually great dancers. They'll be actually great singers. Kind of respecting the intelligence of the fans in the movie to be like, these guys are really good, and they cast a spell, and it's like, it works on the movie audience too.
I don't have a musical bone in my body. I had the team make the musical beats visual by having a little bouncing ball on the corner of the screen. So we never had to have a conversation about whether we're on the beat or not.
We had a few choreographers on this film. Lee Jung from the Black Label, Nine from Jam Republic, and the K-Tigers. They had this knack for martial arts and how boys would stand.
This was our first dance sequence that we animated in the movie. We learned a lot from it. The first blocking that we did, the boys were in the same formation the entire time with Jinu centered, but that's not how it works in K-pop. They shift around and whoever is singing takes front and center. And so it really helped the scene become much more dynamic.
despite how cute and adorable their costumes were, we needed them to move as cool and confident as possible to keep it saucy. Remember, they're demons, they're gangsters. They've done bad things in their history and they should bring that to the table, and that's their brand of cool. The most extreme example was with Baby.
Make me wanna flip the top. I'm gonna come make you hit the spot.
Character that's named Baby, it's easy with these like his aesthetics to really lean into that. We went the other way and tried to make him the most gangster of the group.
Every little drip and drop, fizz and pop. That's what I'm doing, that is getting hot.
Dang, they're good.
So believable that all the masses
Would love them.
would see them
Yeah.
immediately obsessed.
It is annoyingly catchy though.
Immediately, you're like, yes, this is such an earworm. This is immediately something that you would kind of be humming and doing the little like shoulder thing too.
We did lots of exploration of what is the move that the boys should be doing that the girls then emulate. It needed to be something immediately recognizable, kind of work from a chest up shot. It had always been storyboarded as just one shoulder lifting than the next. And we did all kinds of different explorations for like slightly fancier, more specific. Sometimes the first idea is the best one. Exactly what was boarded is what we landed with and stuck with.
It's infectious. She says it's infectious. To some degree, it's a bit about their professionalism as K-pop stars. It's real, recognize real. We're respecting the spectacle, we're respecting their craft. A bit of the anger comes from a little bit of like, damn, that's good.
They can make hearts out of thin air?
They're
Magicians. I mean demons. Obviously demons.
One of the things about Zoey, she's a little bit of a follower.
Yeah.
It's a nice joke, but it's also kind of tells you that she is watching the other girls to follow their lead. Help set up that moment at the end of the movie when she's like, I am now going to lead too.
But a demon boy band? What? I don't care. A demon's a demon. We kill them. No, it's too public. But what if they try to kill all these people?
It doesn't look like they're gonna hurt anyone.
We actually visited there when we took a research trip to Korea. When we came back from the trip, we were like, okay, we need like 6 more food carts.
In fact, it almost seems like they're nice demons. They kind of seem like nice demons.
They kind of seem like nice demons. I'm trying to do it. I'm trying to do it.
Demons are never nice.
Demons are never nice.
I remember thinking that that was really sweet and a nice way to plant that like the girls later in this movie will not reject Rumi for being a demon. They'll mostly just be hurt that she lied to them and kept this part of her from the 2 other girls for so long. People like to ask if like some of our body language and that kind of thing has ended up in these sequences. I think so.
They can make hearts out of thin air?
They record our vocal sessions as reference for how the characters move, but I don't know. That's a testament to what the animators are doing. It blends so perfectly.
It's so cool. But also, that footage, you know, really some vulnerable moments between takes.
So these are really strong, bold lines on the posing from the neck to the ankle. In order for dancing to look cool in animation, you have to go farther. If you just copy, it's very uncanny and very not pleasing.
We wanted it to feel like an actual music video and step out of reality for a second.
The audience's clothing actually reflecting that change, like being more normal. And then after the switch, when the buildings turn pink, they also become more colorful. It's like they're being taken over by this Saja Boys magic. The soda pop can actually has these fun graphics. When it turns pink and you see those shapes of like the flowing graphics going on the buildings, those are all inspired from the actual graphic design of the soda cans that we designed for this movie.
They're coming after the fans. We gotta stop this now.
While I was describing about those floating mouths, that teeth and mouth, if you looked in profile, that's floating a foot in front of his head. And then the next shot right afterwards is a really clear nod to traditional anime faces where greater than, less than symbols for eyes.
Who's your Saja Boys bias?
Oh, a bias is your favorite of the group.
NA, not. No.
We're not
No.
censoring men in the conversation. But mine is Jinu.
Boo! Woo, Jinu?
Mine is Jinu. Yeah, the tortured bad boy.
I don't know. I will say the hardest one for me to look at is romance. It's like you want him to be beautiful, but you also don't want to make like eye contact with him.
Baby's my favorite, mostly because I love Danny Chung.
I think Baby, I just like that he was so cool and he's a good rapper and he's got like this fire energy.
I only learned the term bias working on this film. I think Baby ended up being my favorite of the Saja Boys because of how much we were able to contradict his ridiculous baby face being as gangster rapper as possible.
It's got to be Abby, I think. I mean, look, we just do a full ab frontal.
I feel like all of them kind of complete Saja Boys.
Right.
So yeah, my favorite is Saja Boys.
Nice. Good political answer. Let's go.
You know, a lot of people assume that the big action pieces are what's the hardest to animate. The scenes that we struggled with the most are the really emotional scenes.
You're trying to distill even more so than in a live action performance.
Scrutinizing like a pixel of the distance between the eye and the eyebrow, because all of that makes the biggest difference.
It really did take a village, directors, writers, animators. I think this collective love is what made K-Pop Demon Hunters so special.
There's hundreds of people. Every one of those people has a decade or more of expertise. Now you're getting to like thousands of years of people's work and life and passion for stuff all coming together. And in every department, rather than being like, we've never done anything like this before, we're scared, they were like, dude, let's do this.
Well, as soon as this movie was released, we saw the internet take it by storm and make many GIFs of it, which was exactly our dream.
Within 24 hours on TikTok, Zoey would never wear this hat and Mira would drink this beverage and Rumi is just like me. And so there's that like buy-in for them as real characters that is it's so much what we wanted to accomplish.
Saja Boys, love you! My little soda pop.
I still don't know how they came up with this, actually.
It's amazing.